Okay, everybody. So this is the video for Lab 6. So if we take a look at it, what we'll see is that there's an introduction here, which is trying to explain some concepts to us. And then below that, we have a couple of codes to write. So we have to write a program here that does something, and then we're going to add to it. Now, the point of this is to get practice using these kinds of operators. So, when you do like three less than five, what happens there is a true or false is returned. So, um, yeah, so these relational operators have that property. So, when we do three less than five, that happens to be true. So, the result will be true. If we do three greater than five, that's false. And so the result will be false. Now, if you're checking if things are equal, then you have to use two equal signs like we have here. So 3 is not equal to 5, so this is false. And if you want to check if things are not equal, then you put a exclamation point equal sign, and that means not equals. Okay. Now there's a Boolean type. That's something that exists. I meant to say a variable type called Boolean. And what that does is a Boolean can hold either a true value or a false value, and that's all it can hold. So it's like an integer or something or any other type, except the only two values a Boolean can have are true and false. Now, listing some of the operators that we could use, we have less than, we have greater than, we have less than or equal, which you type this way. You have greater than or equal, which you type this way. You have equals equals, which is how you check if two things are equal. And you have not equals, uh, which you type with an exclamation point and an equal sign. Now, what we're going to do here is get a program set up to do this. Now, I'll just copy this. We need to make one called Lab 6 Part 1. Doesn't really matter what you call it, but I'll just copy that so I have it available. And we'll head over to Eclipse. So if I do File, New, Java Project, and I'll just call it Lab 6, Part 1 maybe. I've noticed that depending on the version of Eclipse you have, some of them won't let you name things like this, and you'll have to use underscores even in the project name. But I don't, but I will. So we have Lab 6. Expand that, click on SRC, do a new class. And the reason I copied that name was so I could paste it right here, Lab 6 Part 1. And I'll go ahead and check public static void main, but it doesn't matter because I'm going to overwrite this all anyway. So we got this program here and it's supposed to run. So I'll copy everything in here and paste it here. Now, of course, this name here needs to match up with the name of your file. That's why I copy pasted it. So if you named your file something else, then you would have to edit this text right here. So we've seen that many times. I guess we could change this. Say it is 10. I think it's the 15th today because I'm re-recording this video. And here we go. Now, we have a error here. We'll figure it out. Let's just save this and try to run it and see what happens. Yeah, give me the error message. Why? Oh, this is weird. Go down there. What is the problem? Hmm. So I accidentally have two versions of Eclipse on this computer, and I ran the one that I don't normally run. And so I feel like I have made this not compile now. And so what I'm doing now is not something that you should have to do, but I'm going to do it because I want to make this work. If it doesn't work, I'll just open up the other version. Um, why am I not seeing the correct option? Oh, okay, it's right here. I think I can set this to 21. Try this. Nope. Okay, well, I'm going to close that just so we don't waste more time. And I don't know which one's which. I'll try the first one. That's the one that I was just looking at. So I'll close it again. I'll try the second one. What? Now you're just messing with me. Okay, third time's the charm. I really wish I could see what I was doing here. They're both the same. Okay. Oh, no. What is it complaining about? Public class. Oh, how did that get there? Okay, it's working now. Oh, it's this right here. I don't know how this got here. Um, that should not be here. Let's just edit that right now. I do not really understand how we got these extra square brackets there. Okay, but anyway, um, disaster averted here, and we can do this. Now, so what are we doing? So what we have here is I ran this now, the code that's on the website, and it says enter a number. I'll put in a number, I'll put in 7. And it just says 7 less than 5. That's false. Okay. Now, what we're going to do here is we need to modify this so that instead of just having uh, this printout, which is a number less than another number equals, and then a true or false value, we want to add all of these operators here. So we just did the less than one, I think, right? Because it says 7 less than 5. So to add the rest of them that we're missing, what we want to do is basically take this line here where it says compare input variable to compare variable. And I'll just change the name here. So this was called less than. Um, you might make your life a little easier by making the name shorter. So like GT for greater than, for example. And then over here in the comparison, I would just change that to greater than, right? Now, when I run this, it's still not going to be any different, right? If I put in 7, it's still going to just say 7 less than 5. What I want to do is output the equivalent of this, but instead of less than, I want the greater than symbol. So in the printout, I'll copy that line, and we have to change this symbol here so that it's going to print out a greater than. And then also, when we're printing out the true false value, I need to change that to be whatever I just picked for my variable name up here. So now when I run it, I'll just pick 7 again. And now it says 7 less than 5 is false, but 7 greater than 5 is true. Okay. And so we just have to do this 4 more times because we need it for each of these variables. I don't really care the order. So we need to do less than or equal, greater than or equal, equals, and not equals. So your best bet is just to kind of, we know that there's 6 total here, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we've already got 2. So I'll just put this right 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here. And then what are they? Well, we have less than, greater than, we need less than equal, we need greater than equal, we need equal equal, and we need not equal. And then over here, we need to change the names. So like maybe less than or equal, I'll do less than, less than, or equal, LTE maybe. And for the next one, greater than or equal, maybe I'll do GTE. And for equals, maybe I'll just do E, EQ. And for not equals, maybe I'll do not, not. EQ. Well, I don't like the way that's capitalized, but whatever, it's fine. Um, so we calculate these. Some of them are true, some of them are false. And then we also need four more outputs. So I'll copy one of them and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And we have to change them to be what we want. So we have less than, greater than. The next one will be less than or equal. So less than, equal. The one after that is greater than or equal. So greater than, equal. Then we have equals. I'll put equals, equals. And then we have not equals, which is not equals. And then over here, where we're printing the answers, we need to modify those to be what we have over here. So we have GT, and the next one's LTE, LTE. Next one's GTE. Next one was EQ. And last one was NEQ. And now what should happen when we run this is if I type a 7, for example, I should get a printout of what is the result of all these operators. So less than 7 less than 5 is false, 7 greater than 5 is true, 7 less than or equal to 5 is false, 7 greater than or equal to 5 is true, 7 equals 5 is false, 7 not equals 5 is true. And you can run this, with, another number, like I could put in 5, for example. And now 5 is not less than 5. So 5 less than 5 false, 5 greater than 5 false, but less than or equal to 5 true, greater than or equal to 5 true, 5 equals 5 true, 5 not equal to 5 false, right? So that's what we're doing here. Now we need to screenshot this, I think. If we come over here and scroll down, we need the two codes and oh, actually, no screenshots, it says. So we don't need the screenshot. Um, so all we got to do is have this code. So good, we should be able to make a new project for the other part. So Lab 06 part 2. Um, let's hope it works first time this time. Java project, lab underscore 06 underscore part 2. I will, oh, that was a new project again. I didn't click new class. New class, lab underscore 06 underscore part underscore 02. I'll check the box for public static void main. We have a blank project here. Cool. Go back up here. Now, for part 2, I guess it's called part 2. Yeah, but it's number 3 in the numbering. It says, create a new project called Lab 6 Part 2 that does the following, asks the user for an integer, produces the following message on the screen if the user enters a 1, user types a 1. That should probably say user typed a 1, but there's a typo there. Outputs the message if the user enters anything else, user did not type a 1. And so this is assuming that we know what an if statement is, but this is kind of like the easiest possible if statement, okay? So you get a lot more practice on this if you do the Zybooks. But yeah, let's try to do this. So asks the user for an integer. So coming back over here, we're going to need an import java.util.scanner, right? Because we're going to be reading input from the user. And then down in our main, we're going to need to set up a scanner object, which we do with scanner scnr equals new scanner system.in, right? We're used to seeing all this. Go back here. What are we doing? Ask the user for an integer. So I will create an integer. I'll just call it x. And we need to tell the user to type it in. So system.out.print. I will say type an integer, colon space. Then we want to read an integer in, specifically x. X equals scnr dot next capital INT. We can check what we got so far. Type an integer, 8. We're done. All right, that's all we have. So we want an if statement. So we have to output a certain thing if they type a one, and we have to type in, or we have to print something else if they don't type a one. Now up here, there's an example of the syntax for an if statement. So I'm just going to copy that. And then we can come down here and paste it and modify it. So you say if, and then you open parentheses, and in the parentheses, you put your condition. And so according to what we have here, it says we need to check if the user typed a one. So the number that the user typed is X. So we want to compare X to something. Now we want to compare it to one. We want to know if it equals one. So you have to type X equals one. That's how you check if they typed in a one, right? Because what they typed is in the variable X, and we're going to compare it to one. Now, if they did type a one, I think we're supposed to say something like user typed a one. That's all. Actually, I think it said types, but that doesn't matter. And if they didn't, then we're supposed to print out user did not type a one. So we put that in the other block. And so the point of this if statement is that if this condition is true here, X equals one, then it's going to run the whatever code is inside of the top block of the if statement. Um, if the condition is false, then it's going to print the code or it's not going to print the code, it's going to run the code that's in the second block. So we can run this a few times to see what happens. So type an integer. If I type one, it says user typed a one. I don't like the period. If we type in something else, like if we type like 8, user did not type a 1. So if we type a 1, we get one message, user typed a 1. If we type in anything else, we get that user did not type a 1. Okay, so we only have one of these two things happen every time we run our program. That's what an if statement does, right? We're checking a condition, and based on the condition, we are either going to do the top block of code or the other block of code. And that's it for this lab. So we want to turn in those parts, part one and part two, just the Java files. And that's it. So that's going to be it for this video. So sorry at the beginning we had a couple minutes where I couldn't figure out why the program didn't compile. I just really didn't see it. I didn't notice that there were just extra blocks there. I really don't know how they got there. I must have done this. Like I must have had in Eclipse, if you have something selected, you can accidentally drag it somewhere like that. You see how I moved them up there? And so I feel like that's what I must have done somehow. Anyway, that's going to be it for now. So I'm going to go ahead and end this. I'm trying not to sneeze. Sorry. All right, that's it for now. Talk to you guys later.